Hello, and welcome to another battle report from Santa Barbara Wargaming. I'm Paul, and today I'm playing a 35 point caster kill game against D. She brought minions, and I brought Menoth. I rolled to go second, and I picked my side, and so she went and deployed first. She brought Bloody Barnabas with a snapper, a wrestler, ironback spitter, a full unit of gatormen, wrong eye with snapjaw, and a bull snapper attached to wrong eye. She deployed. We modified her deployment slightly on her first turn. We moved Barnabas over next to the ironback spitter, because normally she would pop swamp pit, but we've been trying to get her out of the habit of hiding Barnabas behind the back there, because normally he would cast a swamp pit or cast warpath, and then you'd want him to charge or advance forward. And if he's pinned back behind the beast, then you'd have to activate the beast first, negating your ability to use swamp pit. So you really want to get Barnabas out from behind his beasts, and especially if you go first, you want him on the front line. Again, it's depending on your army. For my list, I brought some Menoth out in my most recent battle reports. I've been playing trolls, and so I'm going to give them a break for a little bit and pick up my Menoth again. I picked up Krios 3 recently, and I wanted to give him a try. Um, I brought a pretty random list. I have not played Menoth in a while, so this is probably not the most optimal list. As well, D has not played Menoth before, and so I thought I'd bring just kind of a mishmash, some decent army build, but this is not the most optimal build uh, in any way, as well as this is the first time I'm playing my caster. So take that in mind when you see the battle report. Um, but I brought a unit of Knights Exemplar, a Reckoner. Krios is in there. He is slightly painted. Next to him is the Bastions. I brought the Fire of Salvation, a Redeemer, and a min unit of Choir. Overall, I thought it was pretty decent. It's a little mishmash. The Reckoner is always good. I thought the Fire of Salvation would be well off with Krios 3. The Redeemer was definitely out of place in this list with some range support, but Krios 3 doesn't really like to give out his focus with a lot of upkeeps available to him, as well as he's kind of a melee powerhouse himself, and being on a large base, he's not well screened. So camping focus definitely helps there. The Exemplars, the Knights Exemplar and the Bastions were pretty good. Bastions, although they were slow, with Ignite they did. They can put decent output at POW 14 Weapon Masters, and then they're survivable on the field with their Bond. Knights Templar are pretty cheap, 6 models for 5 points, Weapon Masters, and definitely can get them up to a decent POW as they die. So overall, I thought the unit choices were pretty decent. They would be very poor against, say, a more ranged army, but since Bloody Barnabas is a little bit more melee oriented, I thought they would do fine. The Reckoner was always a good choice. And the Fire of Salvation, I wanted to give him an opportunity to see how he does with Krios 3. With I think it's Holy Vengeance is his ability, as well as he has a good imprint, which allows him to get fully boosted melee attack rolls on his attack, which is quite nice. And his affinity with Krios has Dispel, so can take off some of those upkeeps. Redeemer, definitely out of place. I would have, for a few more points, maybe bringing another small unit, something to get up for it and jam. Um, in this list is very slow and Krios is very fast, and so being kind of bogged down, kind of makes Krios very vulnerable to attack. You really want to take the side of the field and give him a lot of mobility. So yeah, let's begin the battle report. So D began advancing quite quickly. On the left there, she advanced wrong eye. She ran all of them. No animi or upkeeps on that battle group. Um, let's see. Bloody Barnabas activated. He cast Warpath and then Iron Flesh onto the Gatorman after they had run. He ran up all three of his beasts, and that was it for Barnabas's first turn. For my first turn, I thought I might have had a good assault shot on Wrong Eye. Would have been nice maybe to put some early damage onto him. Um, I allocated 2 to the Reckoner and 1 to each other Jack. Got to get used to allocating focus. I'm used to the Fury system. I ran up both of my units. I activated Krios. He had put Warpath on himself and Holy Ward onto um, the Reckoner with Ashen Veil and Holy Ward. He goes up to defense 14, which is quite nice. Forces D to boost most of the hits against it, as well as he's kind of vulnerable out there with the possible assault shot. Reckoner assaulted Wrong Eye. I had range, but I rolled double ones, even after getting the choir buff. So I was a little sad there, but such is dice. Ran up the Fire of Salvation and the Redeemer. I was hoping to get the Fire of Salvation into a more lucrative spot to assist with Holy Vengeance, possibly maybe behind the wall, let one of the Bastions die, and then trigger Holy Vengeance, giving him the opportunity to then charge an unsuspecting model, because you would not suspect that he could advance over the wall and then charge. So taking your opponent off guard there. The Redeemer took, I think the Redeemer might have actually advanced up and took a shot at a Gatorman. It drifted and did negligible damage or none at all. I thought the Redeemer might actually be pretty decent. I felt Fury or Focus Starve to feed the Redeemer. Dice minus 10 on blast damage on any of those Gatormen is actually pretty decent. If I can get a few wounds onto them while they're armor 16 instead of 18, that would definitely help in the long run. So I thought the Redeemer was a decent choice, but again, not enough focus to really fuel it to get a boosted hit. I really needed that to allocate 1 extra focus to it turn to get a boosted attack roll to potentially hit a Gatorman. Okay, so D began her turn by putting Spiny Growth onto the Snapjaw from Wrong Eye, and then charging in Snapjaw. Paid 1 to charge, paid 1 to boost against the Reckoner, and only actually did 7 damage after 4 Fury spent. So Holy War definitely helped out a little bit. He was needing 8s to hit instead of 6s, so brought me over a little bit on the curve there, and so thought that was a good choice, as well as it left my Knight's Exemplar open to charge the Snapjaw. But then he actually had charge range on the Snapper and took out one of the Knight's Exemplar, kind of jamming up all that charge lanes for the Knight's Exemplar to charge Snapjaw. She then charged in the Gatorman, charged 2 up. 1 was able to do nasty damage on the left Bastion, and then on the right got boxcars on the second attack at dice minus 3, and I transferred it away. I wanted to keep I took one bastion down for triggering Holy Vengeance, and then the other bastion I wanted to survive to make counterattacks against the Gatorman. So D did something quite innovative using the Rassler's Animus. Charged or had the Ironback Spitter double-handed throw the Rassler forward, got really good deviation, and got the Rassler up, and was able to then charge my Fire of Salvation. One to charge, and then I think he bought a bunch of other attacks. He was dice -2 on his main attack at POW 17, and he was able to take out both my arms, really crippling me. Very much not used to having jacks, very vulnerable. I'm used to being able to heal up my war beasts, and so that's definitely a big change in the game systems. My jacks are just vulnerable to being systems being wiped out, and so very much an eye opener to the switch over to War Machine. Let's see, moved up Bloody Barnabas. He put Spiny Growth onto the Bull Snapper, or not the Bull Snapper, sorry, the Rassler before it got the charge. The back Bull Snapper's kind of hanging out there in the back. So overall, a good turn on D's part. Put some decent hurt onto my Fire of Salvation and tied up my left flank there. Center flank is starting to engage, and so we'll see what happens the next turn. So for my next turn, I had Krios begin the turn by dropping all of his upkeeps. He then made a ride by, or then he popped his feet and made a ride by attack against a Gatorman. Before he did that, he cast Death Sentence on the Gatorman, put Warpath on himself again, cast Ignite onto the Bastions, and put Holy Ward onto the Reckoner. I allocated 2 to Fire of Salvation and 3 to the Reckoner, and I kept 2 on myself. I began, and then I did a ride by attack against the Gatorman, killing it, triggering Warpath. Warpath allowed me to move over Fire of Salvation. I wanted to try to get more space in there for the Bastion, but the Gatorman was tying up the Fire of Salvation. I should have taken the free strike. It might have been a little dangerous, but getting 2 Bastion onto the Rassler would have really helped out to try to take it out. He was Spining Growth, which I feeded off, so dice -5 with 4 dice in the charge would have done some good damage against the Rassler, but I really needed to take out one of the Rasslers to kind of give me the upper hand on the right side there. I'm running out of models to attack. On the left flank, I had the Knight's Exemplar. I was able to get 2 charges off around the Bull Snapper onto Snapjaw, and then the other 3 made attacks against the Bull Snapper. I rolled very poorly to hit, even needing 5s. There's a few 1s and 2s there, so I wasn't able to roll a decent amount of dice against the 2 War Beasts. I luckily had the Bastion charge Snapjaw, as well as the Rassler. I missed the charge attack in the middle against the leader and the right Gatorman. I rolled a bunch of, I was, dice -6, and I rolled very poorly against the Gatorman. I rolled decently well against Snapjaw. Overall, the Bastions got a little dice hate this turn. I finished off Snapjaw with the Reckoner. Pretty obvious after a bunch of attacks. All it took was a little bit of the Reckoner to kind of finish off Snapjaw's life spiral. I used the first I used the first focus on the Fire of Salvation to boost all my attacks with the imprint. I believe I read that right. With both of his arms out, it was worth the one focus to get to get 2 dice again. So I was able to attack with the first fist, and I was 20 with the choir buff, giving me dice +1. I only got to roll 1 dice for the attack, and then I got my fist at dice -2. So I was only getting 1 dice on the damage roll, and then I bought another attack with the POW 20 doing dice +1, and I did a few points of damage. The Bastion kind of whiffed on the Wrestler. I believe I hit, but it was just not there was no good dice spike. So I was hoping for that with the all those Weapon Aster attacks. So I would have rather liked taking out the Wrestler. He's very much a thorn in my side at the moment, kind of preventing me from getting the upper hand in this battle. Gatormen are just hanging out like they normally do, clogging up the center line. I was hoping to take out a few more of them, but it just didn't work out for me. So you can see over here on the left, the Knights Exemplar did pretty good. I've got 5 left, kind of as they get killed off. They add to strength, which is actually quite nice, if you have 3 of them left, they go up to POW 14 Weapon Masters, which is pretty nice. And over on the right, you can see I just can't get that Wrestler off the table. So D, with a frenzy check, she fails her frenzy check against, or a threshold check with the Wrestler, and with a boosted frenzy attack against the Fire of Salvation, was able to wreck it. Use a little objective marker as the wreck. I think also her Bull Snapper attached to Wrong Eye also frenzied, and was able to kill one of the Knights Exemplar. After that, she charged in Wrong Eye against the Knights Exemplar over on the left there. The Gatormen on the left ran. The 2 center ones charged, and the other one charged the engaged Bastion. Triggered some Warpath. You can see the Wrestler moving 3 inches back. And then that was pretty much it for the turn. Let's see, with very much little left, I've got the Reckoner left, a few Knights Exemplar, and some Bastions that are just not being able to take down any enemies. I only upkept Warpath for some movement. I allocated 3 to the Reckoner, and the Redeemer at the time was out of my my control area, so I couldn't allocate any to him. I then had the Knights Exemplar. They were able to take out the it was the Knights Exemplar. I activated them. I had one attack Wrong Eye that was nearby, and he transferred it to to the Snapper, Bull Snapper. I should have activated the 2 Knights Exemplar engaging the Snapper, kill that off, or do a significant amount of damage. Then that would allow me to one-shot Wrong Eye. Instead, I had the Snapper died to transfer, leaving Wrong Eye still alive. Took 5 points of backlash. I then activated the Reckoner. He killed Wrong Eye, triggering Warpath on himself. He advanced over, attacked a Gatorman. I'm dice +1. I rolled 6s twice to do 6 damage, or 7 damage. I was dice +1 to each Gatorman. I then bought another attack against left model, killing it. Left that one Gatorman with 1 life. That was a bummer. I had the Bastion activate. He wasn't able to do very much damage against that Gatorman. You can see, actually, I think he made an attack against the Wrestler with Spine and Growth at 21. I was 12. I just wasn't able to get the dice to crack the Wrestler's armor. I advanced the Redeemer to engage the Wrestler to possibly trigger free strikes. I wanted to get, I was thinking about getting Krios in there to maybe take out the last few points of the Wrestler with his sort of drop the lowest die, as well as hitting pretty hard on the charge. I thought I might be able to maybe take out one of his big hitters, swinging the battle hopefully in my favor. I was debating if I would impact attack the Gatorman posse, then that would have freed up my ability to, with reach, engage the Wrestler. But I decided that the choir member the choir member was an easier target to impact, not risking my inability to kill the Gatorman and then not be in range. The 2 inches was kind of, it was very close. And so I decided to let the poor choir member die to an impact attack. I rolled double ones on the impact attack to hit, and even worse, I remembered that I had the ability to roll an extra die and drop the lowest, and all I needed was a 2, and I rolled another one. So I rolled trip ones on my impact attack, forcing me to fail my charge, and I was stuck near the choir member. So that choir member just stood in my way, and I wasn't able to do it. I was camping 3 at the time, and that was the turn. So D, knowing that the end is near, pretty much played this her round pretty decisively. She activated Barnabas first, popped her feet, knocking everybody over except a few non-essential models. Tried to cast, I think it's Bone Breaker. It costs 3. Cast needed anything but to hit. She rolled double ones. You can see there in the left top corner. Missed Krios. So that was kind of a small victory in some part. Then charged in the Gatorman posse at dice -7. I don't think she did any damage with that one Gatorman posse. Should I decided the other right Gatorman posse would charge the Bastion, even though I believe she wasn't. She didn't make aware to herself that knockdown models can engage or cause free strikes, and so most likely she could have gotten that other Gatorman posse in without preventing the Wrestler's charge. But got the Wrestler in place with Warpath, and then the Wrestler was, well, actually, she dropped Warpath, so the Wrestler was actually in range at the time. Straight charge attack, was able to down Krios. It took 4 focus. The charge attack was dice -3, did decent amount of damage. The dice -6 on the 2 other attacks, I think she boosted damage, or no, she just rolled those. Bought another attack, and was able to fell Krios 3 in a mighty bout of being knocked off his horse and mauled by a Wrestler. So overall, it was a great game. I thought for my first game of War Machine, I didn't forget any time to allocate focus. But Dee has gotten quite good at playing Barnabas, being a lot more aggressive than her previous games. It really works out for the best. Able to really trigger Warpath off a lot of the times and get in their first feat. So good win to her, clean victory, and overall I enjoyed playing Krios 3. I like the cinematic aspect of him being on a horse and leading the charge. He's got a good spell list. It definitely gets better at higher point costs, being able to bring max units instead of min units, as well as I haven't played him before, so my list might have not been completely optimal. I think Vengers might be an interesting idea with him. He played a very he was very crowded, and so I felt like his ability to charge models and deal damage with his charge attack was definitely hindered by the just the tar pitting and the inability to move around. So maybe having some Vengers with a high speed output might be able to get Krios around the table a little bit more to threaten some more threat ranges. Anyways, I appreciate you viewing, and I hope to get some more Menoth battles in here to change things up, as well as hopefully have some more Scorn battles. We've got some more people coming up with some Scorn. So I hope to show you some more of that. Also, I'm hoping to get the Judicator in the mail here soon, so we should be able to see the Judicator on the board and how it performs. Thanks, and have a good night.